Good morning. It is Melanie from Shoe Shop Food Action, and I'm here at the Teaching Garden, the Shoe Shop Community Teaching Garden in North Broadview. We've got two big garden projects happening right now, the John McLeod Community Garden downtown and the Shoe Shop Community Teaching Garden uptown. And so I'm going to be probably saying the Teaching Garden, which is our North Broadview place here, and the McLeod Garden downtown. So we wanted to just give everybody an update of what's happening here at the garden. There's a lot of planning going on behind the scenes before we really have any dates established, but we are looking at some times now in April here to get things moving at the Teaching Garden because, there's a lot of things coming to life. So I'm going to turn this around and we're going to have a look at, what's happening here in North Broadview. We've been snowless for a while. There had been some growth. There's actually spinach in the back. There's also a lot of weeds, and our garlic came up too. That was from the South Canoe School who came up and helped us to prep our garlic beds and plant the garlic bulbs. So between the not perennial actually, it's just overwintered spinach. It will end up going to seed. There's some green onions up. The irises are starting to grow. I can see life on the raspberry canes coming up. Perennials are starting to poke their head out of the ground. But now is a really great time. Some of these weeds that have taken the opportunity to flourish, let's get them out of the ground. And because we are choosing to be a no-till garden, we are creating these permanent raised mounds, raised beds. And by not tilling it over, we're not encouraging any dormant seeds that are laying deeper in the ground to then be exposed to perfect growing conditions. But if we can manage the weeds that we have now, and again, a weed is an unwanted plant. There's actually a lot of really beneficial plants in here. Let's just even take a look at this purple-headed nettle, which is actually highly nutritious. Dandelion, of course, highly nutritious. There's plantain, but there are also some things in here that we don't want. So now is a really great time while the soil is still moist and while things have germinated to get them out of the ground. We have some old stalks that we left. Sunflower seeds fed the birds through the winter, and it's really encouraged a lot of birds around here, which also pick at the ground, pick any of the bugs out there too. So they're beneficial to have, but there could be some overwintering little critters in here. The temperatures have warmed up enough that you can definitely say that you've seen some bees out, you've seen different bugs. So it's time to really start getting at her. And we invite folks to learn more with us this year, learn while doing. One of the first things that we're going to be doing is getting this area here prepped because this is going to become a seed-saving garden. Now, Sue Moore, who works with us here, she is a past organic farmer with Notch Hill Organic Nursery and Farm, and she's now going to be creating a seed-saving garden. And that is in her belief, absolutely, that there is no food security without seed security. And so we need to get this area prepped, weeded, some compost where needed, and she was going to be then transplanting some of our overwintered onions. We have some celery that's coming up, some parsley, but also she has some roots that she dug up from last year that she's going to now plant again in order for them to start creating their seed stalks. So there's a lot to learn just in that idea of trying to start saving your own seeds so that you have the varieties that work well, what you enjoy, what grows well here, and it helps to create future food security. So that is going to be coming up Sunday, April 14th with Sue. And we are looking to create our first big spring fling work bee on Saturday, April 27th up here at the garden. And we're going to be getting a big load of compost, and we would really love some help with getting this garden into production. So the next step here, between some of the cleanup that we'll do in the next little while, getting some weeds out, then we're going to be getting compost down onto our rows, getting our rows and all of our drip lines in place, and having these beds ready to plant as soon as possible. There are some things that will do well for the cooler weather, but we want to be ready to plant the majority of our seeds and plants by the middle of May. So that's kind of what's happening up here now. There's always help that can be had. The perennial edges and perimeters could always be weeded. That's very helpful because it's time consuming to really get into things like the currant shrubs, the raspberry canes. You know, getting some of that quackgrass and getting that under control is very time consuming. It's one of those things that if you can lend a hand for a half an hour and just do a small section, it's always helpful. Every bit helps. The more hands, the lighter the work, and it just is always more enjoyable. So we have some work cut out for us. You know, these irises are coming up. We're going to weed those. We're talking about maybe transplanting or fixing the herb spiral. We're going to get into the pollinator garden and see what's coming back to life and get this all cleaned up. We've been talking about maybe overseeding the grass area here with some clover seed so that we can have micro clover, has flowers, and also then doesn't have to be mown. Getting into the shed, getting the water turned on eventually, and just getting this place to be a wonderful place to be. And we have a big compost area over there that needs some fixing. So that is the update for this garden on, which day are we on? Thursday, April 5th, 2024. Lots ahead, growing food for our community, together with our community, and making sure that people have access to fresh, naturally grown food, because that's what everyone deserves. So if you'd like to learn more, you can contact me, Melanie, projects@shuswapfood.ca, or you can go to our website and check out the page. There will be upcoming events. We have a newsletter that you can sign up for that's all garden related. And we hope that we'll see lots of new people up here at the Shuswap Community Teaching Garden.